Shadow character log. Subject: the paper bagman. Bunny Colvin joined the Baltimore Police Department in 1973, patrolling his home neighborhood in Baltimore's Western District. Bunny rose in the ranks, and by the time he was introduced in the show, he was the rank of district commander in the Western. Colvin believes that just making arrests and having good stats is not true policing, which involves protecting the community he serves by making quality arrests using trusted informants on his footpost. Bunny becomes a regular character at the start of Season 3. He is at the end of his police career and begins seeing the war on drugs as an ineffective waste of time and resources. That has led to many needless casualties in his district. Bunny is a man torn between doing what is right or doing things the right way for the wrong reason. The very system itself goes against what Bunny stands for and his true goals. Colvin decides since he is about to retire anyway, he might as well crash out. This man comes up with the craziest idea to fight the war on drugs. He makes selling drugs legal in a section of his district. As crazy as this idea sounds, there is a method to his madness. He wants to remove all the violence that comes with the drug trade. He blocks off 3 areas in his district where all drug activity can take place without interference from law enforcement as long as there is no violence in those areas. These areas are named the Free Zones, aka Amsterdam. The Free Zones in the Western District were where addicts and dealers could conduct their business under supervision but without interference. This moves the drug trade into a controlled, uninhabited area to protect the rest of his district. One of these areas becomes known as Amsterdam, after Amsterdam's liberal drug laws. Despite Bunny's little experiment working to a degree, Colvin is forced to retire from the force. He later becomes a field researcher alongside academic Dr. David Parenti in Baltimore City Schools. In this role, Colvin would later become the guardian of Naaman Bryce, the son of Wee-Bey.
As a commander, he insists that his men learn their footposts and urges them to focus on doing real police work. Bunny has moral values, he has good intentions at heart. Because his retirement is imminent and he is guaranteed a pension, Colvin believes he'll be free from any consequences should his plan be discovered. Bunny is a man of strong moral values and principles. He is not afraid to challenge the bosses when needed. Bunny is willing to fall on his sword to protect his men under his command. Legalizing drugs in his free zones allows him to do real police work and better the communities. Bunny believes that the current generation of police are not doing real policing. Bunny knows the system so well that he is able to use it against itself. Bunny inspires loyalty in those under him. Even if they don't agree with some of his actions, they are willing to go through the fire with him. Bunny just doesn't possess this power with those under him. He can convince all the corner chiefs to agree with his idea of free zones. This man was able to convince some of the hardened criminals to trust that the police would not try to set them up or betray them. But even more impressive than all that, the greatest showing of Bunny's ability to inspire others to trust and follow him, was his interaction with Wee-Bey. Bunny Colvin was able to convince one of the most ruthless gangsters and killers to give guardianship of his son to Bunny. Wee-Bey and Bunny are 2 natural enemies and yet, were able to find common ground on the subject of Naaman. Bunny's debating and negotiation ability is a sight to see. He often can win the war of words with most he goes up against. Bunny is a man who sees the bigger picture and can see the potential in people. Bunny also mentors some of the characters, such as Carver, Naaman, and McNulty. Bunny was McNulty's first commander and he has a lot of respect and trust for Bunny. Despite McNulty's other faults, no one can claim that McNulty is not a good police. Bunny helped Carver reassess his ability as police, and as a leader being a DEU sergeant. Later in the show, Carver started acting more like Bunny. Carver started to become more community-minded in his approach to policing. Just look at the influence Bunny had on Naaman. Bunny was able to instantly see the front Naaman was putting on, and helped Naaman to stop trying to walk in his father's shadow. Bunny is a man who sees the true talents of people and tries to help those individuals to embrace them.
Colvin does not seek the permission or approval of his superiors before implementing his plan, and ignores the concerns of his subordinates, including Mello, Herrick, and Carver, who are charged with ensuring no violence takes place within the free zones. Bunny thought he was untouchable because he had his pension, but Bunny found out that he is able to be touched. Bunny is a man with morals in a corrupt system. Bunny thought his ends would justify the means, and that everyone would see all the good his actions would do. But that isn't the case. Bunny's good intentions are ignored and punished. Colvin is forced to take his vacation time immediately after revealing his experiment to Rawls, and Barrel. Royce considers trying to spin Amsterdam as an enforcement strategy because of its success in lowering the crime rate. However, in the meantime, Herc leaks information about Amsterdam to the press after rejecting Carver's request to help him move a homicide victim off the Freedom premises to try and help Bunny. You know the saying, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Bunny Amsterdam may seem like a good idea on paper, and from the outside looking in, but for a lot of people living in Amsterdam, it was a living hell. There was supposed to be no violence in Amsterdam. On the surface, it didn't seem to be any violence. But like most things that are banned or forbidden, they just moved to the underground. People in Amsterdam were being taken hostages, tied up, and locked up in trap houses. The kids' corner boys no longer needed lookouts or runners, so they were just abandoned to wander the streets. People were overdosing and left to rot. It wasn't until some of these issues were pointed out to Bunny by his friend that he took action. Colvin concentrated on these issues and finally implemented ground-level social services, such as needle and condom distribution. Bunny actions may have helped some in his communities, but it also made it so much worse for others. Another example was for Bunny to make these free zones, he had to make some law-abiding citizens move. Some of these people were elderly and had been living in their homes for years. These good honest people had to leave their homes for an experiment that would barely last a few months. Then after Bunny's police career, he would keep losing jobs because he couldn't get out of his own way. Bunny's police career ended with him getting demoted, and that pension he kept bragging about got cut. Bunny thought the bosses couldn't touch him. He thought he had already won the game, but found out the hard way, that the fight was not over until the final bell rang.
Bunny is a man who needs to do the right thing even if it's at his own expense. Bunny is a good man trying to work out a bad situation the best he can. Bunny may at times put the cart before the horse, or not flesh out his grand plans all the time, but even when things don't go his way he is able to quickly adapt. I would say Bunny is a better field commander than a long-term planner. Bunny is better at coming up with tactics than long-term strategy. At his heart, Bunny is a man trying to better his community. His ideas on policing may be from a different time, and most police today might not agree, but that doesn't change the fact that Bunny's ideas being right. With all that being said, I grant Bunny the rank of prominent character. What do some of you think about Bunny Colvin? Leave a comment. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It's back to the shadows. Thanks for watching.